Everybody, thank you for joining us. If you're on school holidays, an even bigger thank you for coming in and spending this time with us as we go through the Future Innovator category and Explorer. So my name is Duncan Beaton, and I will be taking you through the Explorer portion of our webinar today. And with us, we have our wonderful national organizer, Dani Heymans, who will be taking us through the Future Innovator category. So for those who don't know, Dani is the international head judge for Future Innovators, so he knows a lot about this category, and he is really one of the best people to assist in explaining what it's all about. But before we get into any of that, I want to just say a big thank you to Resolute, as always, for sponsoring the World Robot Olympiad here in South Africa. Without you, this would not be possible for all of the nearly thousands of children that are participating in South Africa at this moment. We have had a lot of registrations, and this is going to be our biggest year yet. So if you haven't yet registered for the World Robot Olympiad this year, you should do it before the 1st of June to make sure you have a seat. Again, thank you to Resolute for coming on and sponsoring us. If you haven't visited their wonderful website, it's a really cool place filled with lots of robotic information and a really, really nice place to get started if you're looking for a robotic solution for your school. If you are looking for anything World Robot Olympiad related in South Africa here, please head on to Hands On Technologies. They are our official World Robot Olympiad providers here in South Africa. They are also the Lego provider here in South Africa for your Lego education needs. You're welcome to email them at info@handsontechnologies. Otherwise, visit the website handsontech.co.za and you will be able to access all of anything WRO. So I'm now going to ask Dani to please take control of our wonderful presentation here, and we can jump straight into Future Innovators.
Future Innovators. At last we speak about one of the 4 categories for the World Robot Olympiad. And obviously some of you would have seen those on the launch video, etc. But this a little bit more elaborated so that those who are interested in Future Innovators can learn a little bit more and understand a little bit more. And this time we've added some tips and tricks. A nice picture of one of our teams at the international finals in Turkey last year, from one of the Gauteng schools, and did exceptionally well, especially for their first season, to actually manage to qualify for the international. Right. What is Future Innovators about? Developing a robot project that helps solve real-world problems. Okay, so now obviously there's a particular theme, and I'll go through the theme just now, and but some descriptions or explanations before we expand on that. So the Future Innovators category is a project-based category, meaning that it obviously comprises of a whole bunch of aspects, which is research, presentation, report, and in a Q&A to know to explain to the judges effectively what your project is about, and you've got to wow them and make them believe that you have an amazing solution, and obviously know know the work that you've done. Students create their own innovative, intelligent robotic solution relating to the current theme of the season. So obviously the theme we'll discuss in a little bit. Teams will present their project and their robot model to a group of judges on the competition day. So obviously that's something that needs to be practiced, you know, and part of the robot solution obviously is that the robots have to move and show part of the solution that you're using robots for going into the future. The judges will not only grade the robot solution, but will also look at aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship. And that's, you know, remember there are 3 age groups here, which, as you can see on the little rectangle below explaining Future Innovators, and the age groups are 8 to 12 for elementary, 11 to 15 for junior, and 14 to 19 for senior. And the aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship, those change within the score sheet that you will see an example of on one of the next slides. So how do we get started? Typically, it's not a very well known. Generally, when schools or clubs are working, they would be working with robots, learning what the limitations and capabilities of the sensors and the motors and the robots are, and basically on a table challenge, so that's how you know exactly how these sensors work, what colors they can and can't read, how far the sensors have to be away from the lines, etc., etc. So what happens is the project-based presentation stays, gets away from that. But, from a mentor or coach perspective, it's always good within a group that you're working to ask and to try and interest, some of the learners to actually move away from just the table challenge. So how do we do that? Firstly, some students or friends would get together, and that would be under the mentorship of a coach, and explore the themes, their interests and possibilities of what problems they would like to give attention to, and come up with an innovative idea to add value using robotics in a solution. So typically, to get kids interested in away from the table but future innovator project-based experience is to actually ask questions. How would you do this? How would you do that? How would you get a robot to do something over there because it's dangerous for human beings to be there, etc., etc. And that's how you would spark interest within a group. And then slowly but surely, then you would ask, would somebody like to, away from the table challenge, for example, build a robot that you can actually present to judges and explain what you've just told me. A team would ideally comprise of different strengths in aspects of mechanical, coding with teamwork and presentation skills, plus designing a good visual impact of their project. Basically, remember the rules are the same, so that it's a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3 participants in the team. So effectively, you can build a team with different strengths to actually end up with a good result because it's so diverse. Always a good idea, and very important, to keep a record of your setbacks and your progress to add to the project report. So even keep a little diary of your first meeting and what you discussed and how you decided on which theme to select, etc. And then your first prototype that eventually you developed and how it changed and why it changed. So that sounds all very interesting. And then, of course, the fun begins. So here we talk about the theme itself. Just again, a very nice picture. I think, yeah, that was actually Parkland's team last year in the elementary category. I was privileged to join them in their cubicle. So obviously that is at international level, and at international Future Innovators cubicles with about 133 teams last year is an incredible area to go through, because there are so many different ideas from young, inspiring minds, and who grow with this and eventually convince themselves that they've got a good solution. So as far as the theme is concerned, the future of robots, this year you can select from 3 areas. You can also, work across 1 or 2 of those areas. You don't have to choose one specifically. So area 1, robots organizing future cities. And I've just highlighted here because there's so many different opportunities. The yellow there, it says cities are growing faster. So innovative robotic solutions are needed to manage complex environments because of cities growing so fast. More people in the cities, more transport required. So typically here, robots in urban transportation, robots helping to save resources, because obviously it's all around, keeping life comfortable for human beings living in cities. Area 2, robots supporting life in space. So if you enjoy space and you follow the Mars rover, which there have been 2 of, those kind of things, or you like rockets and people going to be out in space, then this is for you. Explore how robots can do different jobs in the challenging environment of space. We had robots in space quite a long time ago when the international host was Russia. And the South African team did really, really well there, because when they sent a rocket up there with a robot, it actually started building the habitation before the human beings arrived, so that they already had like Mars-type igloo buildings that they could move into. So building habitats and finding resources, of course. So, there's this big exploration going on, what's out there, etc., for humans to be able to live on these planets. Area 3, artificial intelligence, enabling robots to improve life. So artificial intelligence now moving more and more into it, and certainly something that within the Future Innovator category would be an interesting area to explore for our young learners and to learn about, because it is definitely, if in effect already, but playing a much larger role in industry and in our lives around us. So combining artificial intelligence and robotics, building a robotic system that can physically interact with the world around it. And then once more, artificial intelligence enabled robots in manufacturing and industry, and how artificial intelligence actually assists that process. Okay, our next slide. So just talking about the rules here. First of all, remember we said 2 to 3 participants. At internationals, you would have a cubicle, as you can see in the picture again below. In South Africa, it costs money to set those things up. We keep it simple and also easier for us all to manage. That doesn't mean that your project has to be at the same level. We want your projects to show your presentation area very nicely. And there are rules around that, and closer to the time, for example, we will talk about that, and I will tell all teams about what happens at the desk or at the table and what you can bring with you, etc., to make it more impressive for our judges. Because remember, our judges are there, you need to impress them, and also keep them interested, because we need good judges for the category, because it's quite diverse. We need to have judges who understand a little bit of mechanical engineering, a bit of coding, and also presentation skills and what the market does, and a bit of business, etc. Because in senior, for example, you would also present a budget, so that you can take this perhaps to possibly an investor in the future. There's no restriction on robotics platforms in the Future Innovator category, so you can use anything from anything. Any robotics platform, and in fact, you can build robots, you can make them up yourselves, you can cross over between Arduino and Lego, and you can have different robotics platforms performing different tasks within the solution to your particular project. How this happens is you obviously have a 10-minute presentation time to the judges. Okay, 5 minutes, which is the presentation itself. Okay, and in that time, you're going to talk about your research, how you got to the problem. It's not a lot of time, and you also have to be able to demonstrate your solution within that time. And then there are 5 minutes of questions from the judges. I think I'll talk about that a little bit just now. The judges effectively are trying to ascertain how much knowledge you have about your project, where it started, and that you have the knowledge and built this particular solution yourself. So that's one 10-minute presentation. At our South African provincials and nationals, each team will present at least twice to 2 pairs of judges, so that there are 4 judges who then score you, and the average of that score then puts you in the ranking list to be able to qualify for nationals. And remember, the judges, you mustn't be afraid of the judges. I think I talk about that again just now. The judges are there and are interested. Regardless of what level you've done something, they're just interested to see what you've done and ask questions about it. The other thing is, when you are answering a question during question time and you think you've missed something in your presentation, you can always add it into an answer, so that the judges also get a hold of that particular part of your explanation. Basically, the judges score teams on a rubric, which is 200 points. You'll see one just now. And the main topics on that are project innovation, research report, robotic solution presentation, and team spirit. Okay, so what we've got here, and it's not showing very well, but effectively, on the left-hand side is the template for the project report. And there it gives you clear instructions about how to actually compile your report. I have some reports on hand, because we judge internationally, and if you want to have a look at an international participant report. I'm happy to share some of those with you so that you can actually have a look and see how these international teams put these together. But the script is there and there's a certain limit, etc., etc. At international level, they also provide a video, a 2-minute video for the judges. Really what that is about and what the report is about is for the judges to understand your project, to familiarize themselves with your solution, but also to prepare some questions around what you have presented them so that they have some questions in hand when they're actually attending your presentations. On the right hand side, you'll see a typical score sheet where it's broken down into different categories. The main reason I've got this up there is because within the scoring, the weights of the scoring, so for example, idea, quality, and creativity, for example, you'll see that there the points are 30. So there are 30 points there. And keep and be mindful of where the high scores are or the biggest scores are. Okay, so that you can, if those are certainly within the strength of your team, that is where you can get the highest points possible. And then obviously within those is if there are weaknesses, or let's not call it a weakness, an area which you're not so strong at within the project, the rubric, then you could have a look and see where you can improve in that area to make sure that you get maximum points. And I think I have one more slide. Oh yes, so I've just got some notes and tips here. So typically an example which you have, and a lot of this happens, is it has already been done. So when you have an idea where the research needs to include, for example, has somebody else got this idea? Has it been done before? Because we don't know about everything that happens in this incredible big world that we have, and there's so much technical advancement and clever people, but it's to research it. And don't be disappointed. If you see that it has been done before, find a way to improve on it or innovate or show how you will use it in a different way. And certainly importantly, within your communities, for example, or within your country. So don't be put off by the fact that it's been done before, because remember, if the learners within these age groups were already coming up with new inventions at their age, okay, there wouldn't be a need for degrees and all these clever engineers out there, because it starts at your age. So it is very difficult to invent something. It does happen with a bit of experience. Maybe in your second or third year, you come up with a really good idea. And internationally, if those are noted, there are within countries that I know that some of these actually have gone to market. So they have been patented and have gone to market and are being used in industry. Your presentation time, I think this is where I said it just now, is 5 minutes. And how your solution works and how you intend to solve that problem that you've come up with. And remember that it has to be demonstrated. If the robot does not work, remember, please do not panic. I know we all get nervous. I get nervous when I'm judging. I got a little nervous before I was presenting to you today. But you know what? You do it often enough and you know what you're talking about. Then it's easy to continue talking about it. So just breathe, think, and show a methodical approach to solving the issue, because it's happened before, or you've got to find out what the problem is. And remember, half of the learning that you do in robotics and WRO that you participate in is your problem solving skills. And the first part of that is not to panic, is to think about, oh dear, something's gone wrong. How do we fix it? The other thing is, from a judge's perspective, and I've judged for many years, I love when that happens, and I know it's not ideal for the team, but it's really incredible because there's a scoring area for quick thinking and how you deal with rectifying an issue which you have during your presentation. So it didn't work this time, but maybe your points will go up in how you dealt with it. And there are points for that. So make sure each team member has a turn to present. And also, if there is an issue in a particular area, the member who is responsible or knows a little bit more about the code or a particular connection, etc., let them handle it and then continue with your presentation. And if you can't get it going, explain what you think the problem was. You will have to deal with it, continue with the presentation, and Finish confidently, okay, your 5 minutes, regardless of the issue that you had. The question time, as I said, the time is used for the judges to test your knowledge. Okay, and remember, anything that we do at World Robot Olympiad, there are ways, and the judges are very experienced to see when the work has been done by somebody who is not part of the team. So, for example, not necessarily your coach, but a parent who's an engineer, etc., etc. Because what happens is when there's an issue on competition day and the kids can't fix it, immediately, there's the worry, especially from a technical perspective. One can see whether the team members are actually capable and do know the background to actually approach that. And it's the same over here. The judges ask questions to make sure that the team knows and understands the work and solution. Coaches, this is not your project. So remember, there's the pyramid process. The pyramid process, normally the pyramid is the coach at the top and the team and the learners at the bottom. In this case, what you need to do as coaches is turn that pyramid upside down so that the coach is there to facilitate and ask questions to prompt the team to make decisions for themselves. Because effectively, in the long run, this isn't necessarily about winning. You're winning by you win more by how much you learn during this process. Well, I hope you've learned something, and as Duncan will explain, we are available at any time on the WRO at handsontech.co.za email address, and certainly the coaches who do register, if they have a problem, I'm happy to take WhatsApp calls, and good luck to all those in the group today that will be doing Future Innovators.
Thank you, Donnie, for that very interesting piece on our Future Innovators category. I was quite lucky last year. For the first time in, I think, 8 years of judging at an international level, I was able to see the Future Innovators category at the international final, and man, has it improved since I last saw it. What an incredible category to get involved in, especially if you are new to WRO. It is a really good starter competition to get in with because it gives you free reign with your robot, within the rules, of course, but it allows you to develop and get your kids to build what they want within the theme, and it's a really fun way to start and really get a project going within the World Robot Olympiad. So if you are new to Future Innovators, Donnie has said he will help you a little bit and answer some questions if you need it. And I would honestly take that help. You are talking to the international head judge, someone who has years of experience with the category, and they can help you direct your teams towards victory. All right, so what is the Explorer category? So the Explorer category is a table-based challenge. It's where the robot will solve a known and practiced task. It is restricted by its general rules, and with all WRO categories, teams are a minimum of 2 team members and maximum of 3. Within Explorer, we have 2 different age groups. So within Explorer as well, it is a South African created competition. It is only here in South Africa. Other countries are using it, and we've been running it since 2015. It has been running here in South Africa. It comprises a national final, provincial events, but there is no international final for the Explorer category because it is a South African created competition. With an Explorer, it is open to anybody who's new to robotics or anybody new to WRO. And because of that, we are only allowed to participate for 1 year per age group. So if your teams are in the Explorer Light age group this year, they may have to move on to the elementary or junior age group. Otherwise, they may be allowed to participate in the Explorer Prime age group. If your teams are in Explorer Prime, unfortunately, this is their last year to participate in Explorer, their first and last year. They will have to move on to one of the other WRO categories. We introduce Explorer as a way for not only the teams to get used to the WRO and to have an introduction into WRO, but also for the coaches to see how scoring works, what competitions look like, what admin you need to have around the World Robot Olympiad in South Africa. It is a special competition and differs from all the other categories because there is a continuous scoring method with it. And we will get into how the scoring works with Explorer in a few slides' time. Jumping back to the age groups, we have Explorer Lite. This is the 8 to 12-year age group. I see I've got satellites at work there. Ignore that. That is incorrect. Don't go by that information. My slide is lying to you. We also have Explorer Prime, 11 to 16 years. And both age groups are using the Junior Robo Mission Mat. That is the Mars exploration. So if you are in Explorer Lite or Explorer Prime, you need the Mars Exploration Mat, the Robo Mission Junior Mat, in order to compete in this age group category. So jumping into how Explorer is actually scored. During your Explorer event, you will have 4 opportunities to score. How it works is you will ask the judge. The judge is there to help you. You as a team member will go to the judge and say, we want to be scored now. The judge will then score your team. There's a special way in how it's done. But in the first hour of competition, the team must get at least 1 score in. If a team doesn't score in the first hour, the next time they come to the table, the judge will write down their score no matter what happens, because we want all of our teams to have at least 1 score for the day. Explorer is special because the score must be higher than the previous recorded score to be recorded. Now that sounds quite complicated, but it's actually very simple. Let's have a scenario here. This team goes and scores 60 points in their very first attempt. They then come back and they ask the judge to score them again, and they only score 40 points. The judge ignores the 40 points. They don't write it down, which means that out of the 4 scoring opportunities, they have still only used 1. The judge will only write down the score if it is higher than their previous one. So it is quite nice and friendly towards our new teams. They can just keep scoring as long as it is higher than their previous score. As a tip for all of you, listen to the judges. The judges know what a good score looks like. And when a judge asks a team, are you sure you don't want to score? Maybe come back and score. You should listen to them because they know what's going on at the table. They know where a lot of the other teams are sitting on their scores. And if they have seen a very good run, they will prompt you to score. Let your team members know that if a judge prompts them to score, they should listen to that judge and definitely get that score. The judges have the best interests of your teams at heart, and they will make sure that your teams perform as well as they can. So what do you need to get involved in the Explorer category? You need 1, the competition mat. That's the Junior Mars Exploration Mat. You will also need the Lego Education product code 45811. I'm missing a 1 over there, 45811. This is the standard WRO set, the very first WRO element set. You do not need the expansion for Explorer. Take note though, you do not necessarily have to have this set to take part in Explorer. If you've got random Lego pieces lying around, you could, in theory, build all of the elements from those pieces. You may miss out on a couple of the specialized elements, such as the pin mechanisms, the pipes, and the balls, but you should be able to build the Explorer elements out of pretty much any other pieces you find. Colors do matter sometimes, so just check the rules before you try that. If you have the set, you have nothing to worry about. Next, always check the game rules. The game rules are available on our website under Explorer. There are the general rule packs as well as the Explorer Lite and Explorer Prime rule sets. So make sure you familiarize yourself with those, you understand how those rules work, and if you have any questions, you are welcome to send an email to wro@handsontech.co.za and we will assist you as best we can. What else do you need? You can use any robotics platform as long as it is Lego. We have to say that because we are sticking to the Lego platforms for our Explorer competitions, at least for this year. You can use any programming device, whether it be a tablet or a laptop, something that's portable. Please don't bring a full-on PC because that takes up quite a bit of space and teams are running backwards and forwards. You want something that is portable. You need some time. It takes quite a bit of time to program and get everything ready for an Explorer competition and an Explorer event. So make sure that your teams have enough time to practice. Now, Explorer has something different to all the other categories. All the other categories, you arrive at the competition with a pre-built robot and a pre-built program that you've been practicing with and that you can edit. For Explorer, you arrive at the competition with your pre-built robot, but no program. Teams have to reprogram their robots on the day, and I say reprogram because they've been practicing. They should know how their robots work, they should have a strategy on the game mat, and they should know how it works. So taking a look at what the actual Explorer challenge is. We have our wonderful little robot that starts in its starting square. It must fit completely inside of the start area. The robot must then, and again, this can be done in any order except for this very first task, your robot should be started using the ultrasonic sensor. That means your team should program the ultrasonic sensor that when the beam is broken, the robot starts moving. There we have the robot moving across the table. Once that's completed, you can follow a line. If you follow a line, you will score a certain number of points, and we'll get to the points in a bit. You then need to move the excavators into the Martian surface. Now, this one is a bit tricky. Those excavators must only touch the red soil areas. That means if they touch anything else that you would not consider as part of the Martian surface, a black line, a black block, perhaps a piece of rock, this could be considered not inside of the scoring area, and you would not score the points for your excavators. Next up, we have the hydrogen tank. Now, the hydrogen tank starts on your team's robot. You can place it in a special catching mechanism. You can push it from the start area to where it needs to go. It's up to your team to decide how they want to deposit this block. The hydrogen block goes from the start area into this little billboard area, which I really do like on this mat design, and it needs to place that in there. You then have a blue water pipe that needs to be taken to the construction area. We have a construction area, and that's defined as past these two gray pipes that you can see on the mat image. If the element is past those areas, you will score your points. Coming up, we've got the algae tank. We have a special algae tank that's placed on a black square, and this needs to be taken to the refill area. It gets pushed into the refill area or carried, depending on how you want to do it. And once it's completely inside, you will score a certain number of points. We then have these white bricks. They are placed on the game mat in different positions, and you will score points for getting them into the refinery area. A note about those bricks. This brick here, this first titanium brick, will always be a titanium brick. This is where we are introducing a little bit of randomization for our Explorer category, as all other bricks will be randomized. You may have a gold piece here, or you may have a titanium piece on the game mat. Randomization will be decided at the start of the competition day, and it will stay the same throughout the entire day. That means your teams know where all of the elements are going to be placed, and they will not change. So again, those titanium pieces need to be taken to the refinery area and placed completely inside. We then have the gold pieces. Those are the yellow 2x4 bricks, and they get placed again in the refinery area. We have two construction kits that have arrived on some shuttles that need to be unpacked. We have a red and a white shuttle. Your robot needs to get that construction kit off and go into the nearby construction area. It needs to be placed completely inside of the construction area. And as a last little bit, your robot needs to get back to the finish area. It only needs to project into the finish area. It doesn't have to be completely inside. As long as some piece is hovering over the white area of the start/finish area, you will score your finishing points. We then have some habitats. These are the balls on the game mat. They must not be touched. They must still be standing. So having a look at the points that you can score for Explorer, you will get 20 points for using your ultrasonic sensor at the start. You get 30 points for following a line, and this is any line on the game mat. So if you find a line, you can follow it at any point. We then have the excavators. They are worth 20 points each for a maximum of 40. The hydrogen tank, putting it into the refinery area, is 10 points. The water pipe, a wonderful 20 points for getting that guy passed into the construction area. The algae tank inside of the refill zone for 20 points. The titanium ore, each one is worth 10 points. These are the white bricks for a maximum of 50. That means there are 5 white bricks on the game mat. The gold ore inside of the refinery area is worth 20 points each. There are 3 of them on the game mat, giving you a maximum of 60 points to achieve there. Having a look at the construction kits, there are 2 points awarded, or 2 different ways that you can score for your construction kit. 1, having it just touch the game mat anywhere on the game mat. That means it's no longer touching the shuttle. You will get 10 points each. And for moving it completely inside of the construction area, you will get 40 points per construction kit. That means for moving those construction kits, you will score 100 points in total if you get both of them completely inside of the area, because you score 10 points each for not touching the shuttle anymore and touching the game mat, and you score those 80 points for having them completely inside of the construction area. Then, with the constructed habitats, if you do not touch them, they remain where they are, the walls are still intact, you will score 5 points per constructed habitat. So avoid those objects, don't let your robot hit those. And last, we have our robot projecting into the start area for a massive 30 points. As a hint, if you are new to Explorer, if you are new to any robo mission competition or any competition where you've got a task on the mat that says your robot should get back to the start to score points, always make sure your robot gets there. It is easy points to score, and that could be the difference between a silver medal and a gold medal. So always make sure your robot gets back to start if points are awarded for it. Jumping into some standard rules for our Explorer categories. Your robot must be 25 by 25 by 25 centimeters or 250 by 250 by 250 millimeters. This is the size of the start area and only includes the white area on the game mat. Your maximum allowed run time we've put as 3 minutes. We don't really time the teams as they run because a lot of the teams will finish the mat faster than that. What we do monitor, however, is the speed that your robot is moving. The slowest suggested speed is 40% for these robots. If you need to slow it down even further, perhaps you are turning or you need to be very, very precise, you may reduce your speed lower than the 40%. But if your robot is continuously moving at 10% for about 5 or 10 seconds, the judges will ask your team to speed the robot up. If they do not listen to that and they keep coming back with a slow robot, the judge will keep telling them to go back and may even not allow that team to practice until they have made that correction. 40% is the minimum speed that your robot should be moving at. It is one of the best speeds to run in competition, especially if you want to do something in a very precise way, as a hint for robo mission. But your robot should be moving at nothing less really than 40%. Teams must touch the robot when they want to show the judge that their robot has finished, and they will end the program. So if they are running their robot and it starts to do something funny, the team can touch the robot. The judge will then start scoring from that point if the team has asked the judge to score them. Because remember, we are with Explorer and they can score at any time during the competition time, as long as they ask the judge. Some standard rules for all of the age groups. Teams have to reprogram their robot on the day of the competition. That means they arrive with a robot that's pre-built, a computer with a coding screen that is completely blank. There is no code allowed that is pre-built. Now with that, because of some issues that we have had, no MyBlocks or pre-built programs are allowed to be used. This includes if your team is sitting and building their own MyBlocks during the event. A team should not be using any MyBlocks anywhere. The reason being is that in the past we have found that some coaches have pre-built the entire program for their teams, and then the team just pulls in the block and that's how they get their points. That is completely against the ethics of the World Robot Olympiad, number one, but also it goes against what Explorer is about. Explorer is for the teams that are new to robotics, and we want to test their robotic knowledge or their coding knowledge and have them have fun. And through that, the teams will enjoy themselves. So please get your teams to have no MyBlocks or pre-built programs allowed. If it is found at the competition, your team will be penalized. So a big question, how to register for the World Robot Olympiad, Future Innovators and Explorer competitions. We have a couple of ways, and the first thing to always take note of is the venues that you can attend. There are only a few venues that are running the Future Innovators category. These are the ones that you see down below. So please take note, if you are entering Future Innovators, those are the only options that you will have. So when you are registering your teams, that is the only day that you will be allowed to go to, because the other venues will not be running those events at that time. They may be running something else as Future Engineers or Robo Sports, or maybe it's just a straight Robo Mission event. So take note of the dates specific for the Future Innovators category. Currently, all Future Innovator events are open for registration. There are no restrictions, so please make sure you go and register your Future Innovator teams. Looking at Explorer, we have a lot of Explorer venues because we want a lot of teams to participate. And we have events happening on 2 different days. We have a Friday event and we have a Saturday event. The competition time is the same for both events, so they've got 2.5 hours, I believe, to participate in event number 1 and event number 2. So how it works is on Friday events, it will only be Explorer. So if you see on the calendar when you're registering, if it's a Friday event, that event will only ever be an Explorer event. It will not be any other category for WRO other than Explorer. On the Saturday, you may have other events running at the same time. So we've got 4 venues where we have a Saturday Explorer event, and these are our smaller venues, our newer provinces that have come on board, and there are only a few spaces available. So make sure you register for your events. In Gauteng, we've got quite a lot of space open for Explorer as well as the Western Cape. So please go in, register for the Explorer event you would like to attend, and make note whether it's on a Friday or on a Saturday. So in order to register, you need to visit the World Robot Olympiad South Africa website. There you will use the registration link. It is currently open and will close on the 1st of June. Once it is closed, that is it. We will not accept any late registrations, because once our registrations have closed, we begin the very difficult task of making sure we've got enough tables, enough judges, that we have enough chairs and tables in the room to accommodate all of our wonderful teams, and most importantly, that we have electricity on the day. So please make sure you register early and before the 1st of June if you would like to participate in any WRO event. So the cost to participate, first off, there is the competition mat fee. Now, this is specific for Explorer. For Future Innovators, there is no competition mat. So for Explorer, you will need the the Robo Mission Junior Age Group, the Mars Exploration mat, if you want to participate in the Explorer category. Our entry fee is 300 Rand per team member. It's not per team. So if you have a team of 2, you will be charged 600 Rand, and a team of 3, 900 Rand. We then have the Element brick set. Again, for Explorer, you only need 1. You don't need the Future Innovators, a brick set. However, it could help you build some extra models. It's always a nice thing to have. And that you can again get through our wonderful provider, Hands On Technologies. So make sure you contact Hands On Tech. It should be your number 1 stop for anything World Robot Olympiad in South Africa. They will be the ones to be able to assist you. We print our mats and we send them across the country. So if you need a mat, we can make sure that you have them. If you're on the website, you may notice that some of the things say out of stock. Best thing to do in that case is send an email to info@handsontech, when you see the out of stock icon, it mainly means that what is available in the online store is out of stock. Hands on Tech does have stock available of some things that are still sitting on the shelves. So just send info at Hands on Tech an email with what you are looking for, and one of those amazing sales guys will get back to you with the information you want. So if you want to contact us at WROSA, the best way to do it is through wro@handsontech.co.za. That will go directly to Donnie and myself, and we do our best to reply as quickly as possible. Sometimes we take a little bit longer because of the different things we've got going on, but we do our best to reply as soon as we can. If you really need to talk to us, you can call us on 011-462-2581. That is our office number. Just ask for Donnie or Duncan or ask for WRO, and you'll be directed to us. Again, the most important thing you should all be looking at is our website, because our website has everything specific to South Africa. If you are looking at the international website, you will find the rules, but you will miss things such as the dates and important pieces on our website. We also have a resources page where you can view recordings of previous webinars as well as see some extra information. So if you have missed a webinar, or perhaps you want to rewatch this one, jump to the resources page under webinars and you can watch the recording. It should be up in a few days' time. And most importantly, to stay up to date on anything WRO South Africa, join the mailing list. Most of you are on it now. I can see by the names there, but if you're not on it yet, jump to our website. There is a wonderful link to join the mailing list, and you can sign up there. We will send you everything WRO. As soon as there is an update, we send it through. These are rule updates, venue updates. Currently, we're sending through the current statuses of our venues as registrations going through. For those interested, we have had 4 venues close for registration in Gauteng, and I've had to open up an overflow venue as well. So make sure you register as soon as you possibly can to avoid disappointment. And now for the thing that I think everybody has been waiting for. We've got the Q&A, but before we go to the Q&A, we have our prize giveaway winner. And our prize today is a wonderful Lego set, as with all of ours. And just speaking about Q&A, if you have questions, I'm going to start your microphones. I'm going to turn them on for you, and you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask away. You are also welcome to type into the chat or the Q&A section your questions, and Donnie and I will do our best to answer them. But jumping to our prize giveaway winner, I do apologize if I mispronounce your name, but here we go. We have Luwala Fisher as our prize winner for this webinar. We will have another prize giveaway in our next webinar where we will have another wonderful Lego set. So sign up for that, attend the webinar, and you too may win a wonderful Lego set for our prize. Jumping into the section that I hope everybody wants, and that is our Q&A. I'm going to enable all microphones now, so you are welcome to either unmute yourself and ask your question. Otherwise, you are welcome to type it into the chat. Again, if you don't have a question right now, you might have one later. You are welcome to send us an email and we will do our best to answer it. I see we have a hand up there. You are welcome to unmute yourself and ask away.
Hi, Danny and Duncan. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask for the registration. After it has closed, are you permitted to pay immediately, or you have to pay after you have registered the learners?
That is a very good question. Thank you for that. So registration will close on the 1st of June. This is when you register your actual learners. You have until then, the 1st of July, to make your payments. However, we know that some things are difficult to do. We know that everybody runs into different difficulties at different times. So as long as you send us an email and you can request an extension, it is possible to pay after the 1st of July deadline, as long as we are made aware of it and you receive in writing from WRO that we acknowledge it, and we can maybe assist if we can. So you are more than welcome to pay as soon as you receive your team invoice. Preferably, that's the best thing to do because you then secure your team positions for your venues, but you have until the 1st of July to pay your team invoices. We have another question here I see in the Q&A, and I think this is a very interesting one. Where can I find the past international participants' project reports for Future Innovators? So we don't share a lot of the reports. The reports are pretty difficult to find because a lot of it contains pictures of children, and we have the Poppy Act, which causes a lot of issues. However, if you go online and type in World Robot Olympiad Future Innovators, you will find videos on YouTube of some of the international teams, and there are links to some of those presentations. It's always good to check out the international ones because you're talking about the highest level possible, as those teams would have qualified against other teams in their countries, and you're looking at, again, the highest possible level for those teams. So check out the international ones, do some research, and if you really need some assistance, Donnie is the person to send an email to, and he may have a few on standby that he might be willing to share with you. Any other questions?
Yeah, thanks. So I did offer on my presentation, so to the person asking, just as Duncan said, just send an email to wro@handsontech.co.za and ask for a copy, and I can send you 1 or 2 PDF versions of international international reports that you can actually have a look at.
Perfect. Thank you, Donnie. Right. Any other questions? Now, your questions don't have to be about Future Innovators. They don't have to be about Explorer. They can be about anything World Robot Olympiad here in South Africa. So if you've got a question, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask away. Otherwise, type it into the chat or send it to us a bit later. So it doesn't look like we've got that many questions. That's looking good for us. So our next webinar coming up probably in 2 or 3 weeks' time will be all about the Future Engineers category and the RoboSports category. We will then start with some of our judging webinars where you are welcome to join a judges meeting and see what judging in the World Robot Olympiad looks like. I strongly advise and suggest that if you are new to the World Robot Olympiad, you register as a judge because you will learn far more as a judge than you will as a person standing on the other side as a spectator. You will also not be able to talk to your teams as a spectator. You can't talk to your teams as a judge, but it's a lot more fun judging teams and learning how the process of scoring works, as well as the challenges teams face at the competition by being a judge. If you are new, we always pair our judges with someone with experience. And if you are exceptionally nervous and worried, you can send us an email once you receive your judging invitation, and we will place you with someone with a load of experience. This could be somebody who has international final experience. It could be someone who's been a head judge in the past, but you will be paired with somebody who knows the judging process. So it's not all on you. And remember, you judge as a pair. You are a team. And if you are worried, you've got the other judges around you who will be more than happy to assist you, and our head judges as well. So there is really no reason why you should not join our judging group. If there are no further questions, I want to say thank you very much, Donnie. Thank you to everyone.